Om Sri Mahaganapataye Namaha. Om Sri Saraswatye Namaha. Sadashiva Samarambham Vyasa Shankara Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Vande Guru Paramparam. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Lokashankaram Samastajana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram Om Sri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha Om Sri Tapovana Sishyaya Namaha. Hari Om. So let us chant the Shanti Patha of Ishavasya Upanishad. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So we have completed so far 5 mantras of Ishavasya Upanishad. Very briefly recapping mantras 4 and 5. They say Atma. The word Atma is introduced, Atma Hanaha, in mantra number 3. So in the beginning it said Ishavashyamidam. Later it said Atma. So Atma is that which pervades the whole universe, basically. That's how you have to connect them. Now, what is that blessed Atma? This is a question. That is the meaning is self. What is self? You and I as our pure consciousness and being at the impersonal level. Not as so and so, but as such. Without any limitations or adjuncts added by the mind or the senses or the body. That pure presence. That is Atma. That is all pervading, because unless that is present, nothing else follows. In everybody. That is the reason it is all pervading. So the limitations are added to that. So within that we see limitations. But if we let the limitations go, we are that. Bhagavan Krishna says about that in chapter 6 Bhagavad Gita, that by gaining which nothing else needs to be gained, and that in which established nothing can bother you, he says, chapter 6. So in verses number 4 and 5, very interesting language is used to educate us about Atma. So what is Atma? Really speaking, it is everything inside, because we consider ourselves only this. So in order to make us understand it, everything inside and everything outside. And also everything at the base level. Swarupa. So as Swarupa, there is no inside and outside. If you say inside, then you say like a sugar cube. I'm sugar inside, I'm sugar outside. If it says, then it's still identified with the cube level. So to drop that, you have to say I'm sugar, I'm only sugar. Then inside and outside, as well as the fundamental Swarupa is covered. All the three has to be covered. So in mantras 4 and 5, that is what he did it very indirectly, very nicely by saying inside all. To give that meaning, he says tadantike anejatu. I'm just pulling words from both of them. Tisthatu. Inside, when we say inside, you say I'm here, I'm not there. Tisthatu. Anejatu, I'm not moving. That the souls are moving. That I am inside me. So inside is all Atman. The outside also all Atman. How is that? How it said? Manaso javiyaha. It is faster than the mind. So Atma is also all pervading everywhere. Tad dure. It is also outside everywhere. Tad antike. So that is inside. So inside as well as outside it is there. The reason it is saying this language is to let us be established in the truth. Then it also says Swarupa. Swarupa means the essential being, a consciousness awareness. But how is it? It is said in mantra number 6, I'm sorry, 5. Tad antarasya sarvasya, the Swarupa. It is the essential of nature of everybody inside, sarvasya. Antarasya sarvasya. Tadu sarvasya bahyataha. It is also the essential nature of everything outside also. This is to get your attention to that essential pure self. So that is how it is presented. Now, to move on to the next mantra, to recap it again, the important aspect of it is, anyway, mantra number 6. Just 1 second. Yastu sarvani bhutani atmanyevanupashyati sarvabhuteshu chatmanam tatona vijugupsyate. I will read it again. Yastu sarvani bhutani atmanyevanupashyati sarvabhuteshu chatmanam tato na vijugupsate. I will chant again. Yastu sarvani bhutani atmanyevanupashyati sarvabhuteshu chatmanam tato na vijugupsate. Mantra 6 and 7 together are probably one of the most important verses of the complete Upanishad literature. Bhagavan Krishna also similar sloka in chapter 6, 29th verse, which is, he says, and also many places this is in this language is used. And commentators often quote these two sloka mantras. And keeping that in mind, we need to pay attention. Is again talking about Atma, ourself, pure being, without any ifs and buts. No what, no who, no why. All these things are mental and physical. Why me? All these things are additions by the mind and body or the intellect. But at the core level, it is pure presence. That's it. Now that is what it is. So I will read first explain the reading meaning. Yastu sarvani bhutani. Yaha, whoever, the one whose Atma we are talking about. So any one of us. Yastu, yahatu, Sarvani bhutani atmani eva anupasyati. Whoever sees all appearances, all possibilities, all or everything else. Bhuta means that which came to be. Whoever sees everything that came to be in him, Atmani eva anupasyati. Anupasyati means always he has that awareness. He is that pure conscious being, awareness being, without any ifs, buts, whats, and whys. All that no. That's all mental. But just as it is. You are there. You are aware you are here. Even when you drop your mind, you are there. That pure being. That pure being is all pervading. Within that pure being, every individual's thoughts arise, and then individuality becomes apparent in it. But that is common ground for everybody. Therefore, he is describing that in which everything appears as individual. Bhutani that comes to be as individual. But it is the essence of, so just like in a mirror, all the objects appear, you are that mirror as pure awareness consciousness. In you they appear, but they are not you. Put it slightly differently. In you they are appear, but because of you they appear. Because your awareness and your existence you provide to them. If you attribute any who is this, what is that, why is it all this, then you are not your source level. Next line, Sarvabhuteshu cha Atmanam. Now, these two slokas, 6 and 7, they focus on the Swarupa Lakshana. Sarvabhuteshu cha Atmanam. The essential presence in everything. Now, don't say, my boss is such a bad fellow. Are you saying I am in him? So, the bad fellow word came in your ideas. You already separated you and your boss. Then you cannot but complain about your boss or any relations you talk about. But the common principle in both of you, before the why, what, and who came, that common principle is common both of you. So be that peaceful presence, which is freedom itself, security itself, fearlessness itself. Because it transcends BMI, body, mind, intellect. Sarveshu Bhuteshu Atmanam. So you also see yourself in every individual being appearance. Now the mantra says very beautifully, Tataha, when you have that clarity, you are that pure being, presence as such, impersonal, Tataha, then, na visugupsate. The person does not despise anybody, hate anybody, because you are seeing yourself and separation has not taken place. So nobody will bother you. Basically, who bothers you? You yourself. Fundamentally, what Vedanta is saying is the people who bother you are because you are preparing yourself to be bothered. If you maintain that quiet, peaceful attitude, you work without any anxieties, as well as you also do not get reactive mentality everywhere. So to explain this, so there are two, three, four levels we can take it, but first level is basic understanding we have to take. First, we'll start with that. The basic understanding is cause and effect relationship. So in everything, the cause is there. So a common example is, so talking about the ornament and gold or wave and water. The cause is only gold. The effect is ornament, like a bangle or a necklace. As long as your mind is on the bangle and necklace or something else, your mind is changing. Because today it can be anklet, tomorrow it can be necklace, tomorrow. So I have this, I don't have, all these things will come. But as long as your mind is on goal, you are not looking at the effects. Now apply it to the mind, apply it to the individual. So you have, that is very important. The example is only to make it understand intellectually. To own it, you have to own it in your heart. So in the context of individuals, it is a vritti. Vritti means the thought waves. The thought waves are arise in the ocean of consciousness and sat. Any thought wave. Earlier I gave example of my boss, whom I am not happy. Maybe I worked for him for 20 years ago, but today also he's still bothering me. He might have passed also. But no, that's not in here. It's in here, past. Are they projecting into the future? That's also here, right now, in the vritti. So the vritti is thought rising like in an ocean of consciousness, like a field. Nowadays, field theory is very common in sciences. Everybody is connected in a field of existence consciousness. Any thought that rises is like a wave. If you identify with the wave, you came out of the field. Now, if you come out of it and then stay out, because that means you are entangled with some, some projections in your mind. Complaining constantly, cannot stop talking. All these things are symptoms of some anxiety or some unnecessary um, pressures inside. What are maybe reasons? So how could you get out of it? If you shift your attention from what is vritti. Vritti means vartana, that which keeps circulating. It gives you feedback into your mind. Vartanam keeps rotating. It comes up and goes back. Comes up, goes back. That is vritti. So past, you keep on digging into the past, and again it comes back in the present, and then goes back. Now tomorrow again it comes into. So you are living in different states of your own mental creations. That's vrittis. So in the example of gold and ornament, it is only cause and effect are very clear. But in our case also, when you live in the past or worry about the future, cause and effect is your consciousness, is the cause, but your mind, conditioning of your mind is creating those waves, the field. Just be in that, then the waves will pass. Because waves have limited energy, but you just remain there as a witness. That is what Karma Yoga helps you to do. You have ups and downs, you just let them not bother you. You get a cause, I'm working for a cause, and keep that in heart, and then focus on ups and downs and ignore. That's how you learn, you grow out of the movements. Then you focus on the goal, which is by upasana or whatever. But in the Jnana Yoga class like this, you understand the goal of life and then you revel in that. whenever you have opportunity, the best time I always say is when you are fresh, when you're still in the bed, but you have not got up. But then you are aware. That state where you don't need to reflect some of these slokas from Bhagavad Gita and these things, and then you remain there, at least for a few minutes if possible. That way you get that clarity, then it grows. So first step is karana and karya. Karana is cause, karya is the effect. So in our case, consciousness as it is unaffected. When it reflects in your mental as vrittis, then you become limited. When you become limited, obviously you complain. Now, who is the cause of the problem? Unfortunately, we ourselves. So by understanding this, when you say Atma is the all pervading in which everything appears and which is in everything in this sloka, which is that Atma, you don't say something that Ishavasya is talking about. No, no, no. It is you. You got to own that. That state of pure being when mind is unaffected. At least in the class. And realize it is possible. And revel in that whenever you are free. So, in the case of us, Atma is the cause of both what I see and what I am. Because, and as Atma, I pervade both what I see and what I am. If I remain as witness, if I remain as that ocean without waves, waves would not bother me. But if I become a wave, then Jagat also becomes bigger wave, a smaller wave, all these things will appear. So fundamentally, you have to have that clarity that you are that source. And that source is pure, essential being as it is. So many places this is discussed in Upanishads. And one of the famous mantras which I always liked when I was a student in Vedanta class, I like quote this. This is Kaivalya Upanishad, mantra number 9. So this is it reaffirms what this mantra is saying. Mayyeva sakalam jatam, mayi sarvam pratishthitam, mayi sarvam layam yati, tad brahmadvayam asmyaham. The Kaivalya, very beautiful mantra. She is saying, Mayeva sakalam jatam. In me only everything. Eva means in me only. Sakalam jatam. Everything appears. Everything is born. Mayi sarvam pratishthitam. And operates in me only. My boss, whom I worked 20 years ago, is still operating in me only. Every every vritti is like that. It is only an operational presence temporarily in you. If you support it, it will take over. The attention you pay makes it real. Mai sarvam layam yati. Whole jagat also layam yati. It also disappears in me. Then suddenly it says Tad Brahmadvayam Asmyaham. Then it says, and the concluding line, Tad Brahma means it starts with saying Aham. Now it also says that is also Brahman. Tad Brahma Advayam Asmi Aham. I am that support. These are extremely powerful mantras which are telling you create unhappiness. Then you complain. Then you go to people. Then you say, but fundamentally, you hang on to the right attitude and you become a witness and then revel in yourself. When you have that clarity, you feel secure. Not only that, you also have a life of fearlessness because you are always relaxed. Even fear is a vritti, a thought of something that you are afraid of. Be a witness to it, do your duty. They're beautiful. See what happens when you have that great attitude in life. Earlier I quoted, I want to quote this. Chapter 6, 22nd verse, Sri Krishna says, Yam labdhva chaparam labham manyate nadhikam tataha yasmin sthito na dukkhena gurunapi vichalyate. That state of pure happiness where you can be in your in your silent movements and practice that. Yam ladhva cha aparam labham. There is nothing greater than this. This guarantee Krishna is giving. There is no greater gain than this. Because vrittis are limited. You are unlimited. That is the basic message. When you reach that, manyate na adhikam tataha, there is nothing greater than that. But happiness, what do you want? Peace, happiness, and security. That it is what it is. All those three are projections. Krishna says, Yasmin sthito na dukkhena gurunapi vichalyate. I specifically took this sloka because often people have various kinds of problems. So Bhani Krishna says, Yasmin sthito, if you are in that, established in that, Gurunapi dukkhena na vichalyate. Even by the heaviest of sorrows, you are not affected. Be a witness. Revel in that witness attitude that gives you the strength, the happiness to do everything undisturbed. And that, what is that? Krishna also, that is, we always think this is unlimited being this. No, no, no. That state where everything is in you, he says, chapter 7, seventh mantra, very sloka, very famous sloka. Mattaha parataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya mayi sarvamidam protam Sutre Maniganaiva. These are very famous slokas. That's why in this context you have to understand how powerful is this teaching. Mattaha parataram nanyat. There is nothing different and higher and separate from me. Kinchidasti dhananjaya. There is nothing outside me. My sarvamidam protam. Everything is supported by me. Sutre Manigana Iva, just like a thread running through a garland supports all the monies means diamonds or jewels, like pearls. They're always a garland of pearls, let us say. In the same way, your thought process, your consciousness and being supports all thoughts you have. Whether the thought of your boss, or the thought of your animals, or the thought of your children, or the thought of your husband, whether it is the world, anything. And they are only thoughts in you. You are not them. And you create past and future anxiety, fear, insecurity, unhappiness. If you connect that to that state of that purity, You realize you are that support. So if you are in that state, then what is the result? The result is you not jugupsate. You also do not hate anybody or despise anybody, and vice versa. Because you have that state of relaxation all the time, you essentially take the situation as it is and you deal with everything as it is. And then you don't have insecurity. So, when you have that state of total peace and happiness, you also your attitude towards the world is also no hates, no hatred, no fear. You add once you add dvesha, jugupsa means dvesha. Dvesha means hatred. Kama, krodha, lobha, moha, raga, dvesha will also come. Raga means liking, dvesha means hating. Both of them will come. But jugupsate is negatively is emphasized because that is where we clearly understand. What we are attached, you don't easily understand. Maybe jugupsate. So basically, I'm reading this mantra to highlight the big picture. Yastu sarvani bhutani atmani eva anupasyati. Now, if you experience the pure, conscious, unlimited being as such, that state of purity, sarvani bhutani anupasyati, before anything rises in you. Even if it rises, you watch it as it is rising in you, being a witness. When you have that state, when you look at others also, don't look at their mentality or their bodies or their complaints, their systems like your boss, for example. You don't look at that. You also look at that peaceful presence from which he also rises. Then tatona vijgupsade. You don't start off talking negatively. Because that does not even arise in your mind. You will be practical, no doubt, but it does not mean you only live in past or in the future, and also in anxious in the present. Before I go move on, I just want to make sure I covered all the points. One more point, then we'll move on. I always keep saying it is pure awareness and being. That being is expressed as is. This body is, this mind is, this fear is. But before these things arise, you exist first. So I have explained in a couple of classes back, when you withdraw your attention from your body, mind, intellectual preoccupations, then you feel yourself as pure consciousness and being. Because you are not absent. As consciousness, you are not absent. So being comes with consciousness as pure consciousness. Now, when you have deprived it of all the limitations, what happens is that consciousness becomes all pervasive. as though you are in deep sleep without any thoughts, but the deep sleep state is all pervasive. But you are aware now that you are not identified with anything. So, anything that comes up in that is worldly appearances or your body, is everything is only appearance in it. As long as you remain as witness. Like a mirror, everything appears in you. So there's a pure presence. In that, just as in a mirror, things appear, but mirror does not get bound to it. They appear and go. That is the reason mirror example is given. But it supports the appearance. That is Atma. So that is the way to look at it from the spiritual point of view. Of course, intellectually, you can say gold and all, motion and wave, all these things, vritti and consciousness, all these things are connecting with the actual basic concept. But to do that, you first have to disassociate yourself and identify yourself with that pure conscious space. And that is not limited. And then that is expansive, all pervading. Sat, Sat expands. Right now, Sat means here only. Once you separate it out, that Sat becomes support of everything. In fact, I will read Bhagavan's Bhashya to make this point he writes it nicely. So basically, using his language, I will like to expand this further. He says, Yaha mumukshuhu, thus like us, willing to liberation. He used the word parivrat. I don't want to go into that. Anybody mumukshu, willing to. Parivrat means actually sannyasi. Bhagavan Krishna Shankaracharya uses the word sannyasi in this context, but he also uses the word mumukshu. I will take that. Sarvani bhutani. What all the appearances, bhutani means that come to be. Now he defines this word. This is beautiful. That's where Shankaracharya greatness is. Avyaktadini stavarantani, he says that. The word bhutani, he says, everything starting from that unmanifest state of deep sleep till stavarantani, till all the inanimate objects, even like trees and of course stones. Atmani eva anupasyati, who sees that in your own total being. See, you are expanded. So how do you expand? As I said, as that avyakta state so even the avyakta state also, when you detach yourself, but you attach your consciousness to it, then you become all pervasive. One Swamiji gave a beautiful example, and to make that point clear. He said a couple of people are traveling in a train in India. Very often you would have experiences when you are growing up. Couple of people, they got into the train, and then they had trouble, they had problems with one person's luggage, stepping on somebody else, and some people are sitting on somebody else's chair, and then they started arguing, and they yelled at one another, just make big mess. So people had to mediate between them and say, come on, calm down, calm down. So they both sat, and one person was looking this way, other was looking the other way, and then they could not control, but then they finally managed to put up with the situation, and then they're not faced. Then as the train was going again, and it became dark, and then people were sleeping. Then both of them started leaning on one another and sleeping together as one. No hatred, no complaints, no memory, nothing. And then morning when they wake up, again start, they separated. So basically what happened here is mind and intellect and body identification created hate. But when all of them are put away in deep sleep, they forgot. What Swamiji gave example is in the same way you and I, when we let go of our samskara vasanas, the past projections, fears, anxieties, then what happens? You become that expanded pure being, and then you automatically love another. Hatred does not predominate your thinking process. Just passes. You forget, you move on. That is the reason. So basically, hatred is not fundamental to you. You something you added onto you person. That's what it is. From avyaktadini stavarantani, everything is in you. Then he says, Sarva bhuteshu cha teshu cha evacha atmanam. Then in all the others also you see yourself as the pure consciousness and awareness. Everybody starts off with conscious awareness only. We are not looking at it. So you first isolate that in you, and then you can also see it in others. Because of which he or is talking, is hearing, and moving his hand, whatever it is. Tesham api bhutanam swayam swam atmanam atmatvena. In that also you start with that level of total being and presence. Imagine this. You are connected, we are all connected like a field. यथा अस्य देहस्य कार्यकरणसङ्घातस्य आत्माहं सर्वप्रत्यय साक्षीभूतः चेतयिता केवलो निर्गुणः अनेन एव स्वरूपेण अव्यक्तादीनां स्थावरान्तानाम् अहमेव आत्मा इति सर्वभूतेषु च आत्मानं निर्विशेषं यः तु अनुपश्यति सः ततः तस्मात् एव दर्शनात् च न विजुगुप्सते विजुगुप्सां घृणां न करोति. घृणा means hatred. Now if you continue with that vision, first you isolate that in yourself, starting from unmanifest, which means deep sleep state. But when you drop your all your idea thoughts, you reach that state now itself. Deep sleep does not mean you just not a state of just a state where there is no thoughts. It is a state of pure presence, impersonal presence. Like those two passengers when they are sleeping. And same way, but in your case, you do that, you with awareness, you get to that state. With eyes open, you can do that. Hang on to the awareness, not to the what, how, who. All these things are mental. You stop them. Mentally, you block that. Don't have those unnecessary questions. Your awareness, directly hang on to the awareness. So, aham sarva pratyaya sakshi bhutaha. I am the sakshi of all the movements. Pratyaya, earlier I used the word vritti, same thing. So you hang on to that state by letting them go. As they come, let them go, but you still stay in that pure presence. See, Bhagavan Shankaracharya's bhashya is direct. Kevalaha. Now at that point, at that place where you are in that state of pure being, Kevalaha, you are alone. Nirgunaha. There are no qualities. Anena eva swarupena. That swarupa, by that swarupa. Swarupa means essential nature. So these two slokas I told you, the swarupa, they talk about your true nature. Atma, swarupa. Earlier sloka say it is inside, outside and all that. Now it is saying all of them has the same common material. Swarupa. Swarupena. That Swarupa pervades avyaktadinam stavarantanam. From the state of no absence of everything. Avyakta, you can also say absence of everything. up to presence of everything. You can say that also. That aham alone support all of it. You catch on to the state of absence of everything which is in you, and then you look at everything, then you say everything is appearing in me. That's what is basically saying. So, Nirvishesham yaha tu anupashyati. Bhagavan's bhashya, he nirvishesha. Vishesha means there are the two words. One word is samanya. Samanya means like the water. Vishesha means the water appears as a wave. Samanya is consciousness. Vishesha is vritti. Within a field, there is an appearance of a particle or a wave. In the same way, Samanya pervades all the waves. Vishesha means the wave. So Bhagavan here saying, Sarvabhuta Atmanam Nirvishesham Yaha Tu Anupashyati. You see that Nirvishesha, consciousness presence in everywhere, where the mind is quiet. So when the vrittis rise, you let them pass. Hang on to the presence and consciousness. Then he's saying, Saha Tataha Tasmat Eva Darshanat Na Vijugupsate. Vijugupsan Grunam Na Karoti. If you are looking at the universe from that perspective, now your vritti of hatred and likes and it will not arise. Like a cause and effect. If you hang on to the common cause, which is consciousness, then things that are arising from it as vrittis also get slowly withdrawn into consciousness. As long as you realize consciousness is the fundamental reason everything is supported. So to make you aware, he's making all these statements. This is that in which everything appears, in which it is present in everything, that is, in everybody is made of consciousness. You stop at the consciousness level, everybody will also look to you as the consciousness. And you don't start with the hatred. If situation may arise, you may have to take some practical actions, but that is different. But you don't revel in that. So, and Bhagavan's Bhashya is saying, everything that appears, starting from no thing to things, you realize it is consciousness only. So, let's go to next mantra, which is also very similar. Mantra number 7. Yes. Yasmin sarvani bhutani atmaiva bhudvijanatah tatra ko mohaka shokah ekatvamanupashyatah. I will read again. Yasmin sarvani bhutani atmaiva bhudvijanatah tatra ko moha kasyokah ekatvamanupashyatah. Again, very similar to mantra number 6, talking from the point of view of the Swarupa, essential self, which is the self of all. So, which because is self of all, yasmin sarvani bhutani, atmaiva abhut. In that self of all, in which every appearance, bhutani, every presence, atmaiva abhut. It is only you as you are. Before thoughts, before vrittis have come. Vijanataha. That where he start, remain there as pure consciousness and awareness. Sorry, pure consciousness and existence. In that state, tatra, ko mohaha, ko shokaha. In that state, where is delusion and where is sorrow? And then he gives reason. Ekatvam anupashyataha, because you are seeing that oneness. What is sorrow? You want something, and today you are saying you don't have that. Now you want that. Because that is a sorrow. It's a projection. What is moha? Sorry. Usually, let us, in most of Indian languages, we call it soka moha. Soka means sorrow, moha means delusion. We, we flip it. Correct way to say it is moha first, and then soka comes later. Same happened to Arjuna. He first got deluded, and then sorrow came. He forgot what is dharma, adharma, and then everything came later. In the same thing for us also. First you get deluded. What happens to him? What happened to that? First, then because you identify with the limitations, that is moha. Then soka will follow. Soka means sorrow will follow. Anxiety, whatever you call it, they follow. But once you realize who you are, when you are able to witness as you are, remain in that pure state, and then watch your thoughts, then you have moha is not there. You are just a witness. We act accordingly, but moha is not there. Moha means delusion. Delusion is we are taken over by situations and people and objects. But you know you are not them, they are in you. Then moha does not come. Then shoka also does not come. You act practically. That's why I say tatra ko mohaha. In that state, where is delusion? Where is sorrow? The Upanishad is. Why? Ekatvam anubashyataha. You are seeing oneness all the time. Anu means eternally, continuously. If you are only seeing during meditation a little bit, that is good, but that is not what Vedanta is teaching as a final goal. Final goal is you identify with that pure, silent, happy presence without any what, why, who, all these projections. That is moha, all these projections. With that state of awareness, presence. Anupasyata, you remain in that. Then automatically you have that really pure presence in the middle of actions also. You said. So what I want to, Bhagavan Sri Krishna, very similar language uses, and I want to highlight these things for the benefit of people, because something people Bhagavad Gita, they somehow they have fear. You should not. Bhagavad Gita is much more simpler language and uses the same concepts, but nicely. So, verse number 29, chapter number 6, it says, Sarva bhutastham atmanam sarva bhutani cha atmani. Very similar language. Ikshate yoga yuktatma sarvatra samadarshanaha. That person who sees that oneness. Ekatvam anubashyataha. We just read it. Samadarshana. The ekatvam and samatva is same thing. That state of relaxed oneness. From there you see everything. Arhim sarvabhutastam atmanam. You see you in everything. Sarvabhutani cha Atman, everything in you, that state of Swarupa. Ikshate yoga, that when you have that state of yoga, Sarvatra Samadarshana. A similar language of this sloka, Bhagavan Krishna uses in Mohan Soka, uses the word, verse number 35, chapter 4. I will chant this. Yajñātva na punarmoham evam yasyasi pandava yena bhutanyaseshena drakshasyaatmanyathomayi. He uses yajñātva. When you realize that who you are, yajñātva, na punarmoham, you again do not get deluded again. And then na punarmoham evam yasya. You again would not get deluded like this. The Arjuna was talking from the delusion. What is that? Yena sarva bhutani aseshena drakshasi. In you and in me. So when you see that presence of pure happiness as witness consciousness, moha will not come again. That's Krishna's guarantee. Same thing in this book also, we saw that. Yasmin sarvani bhutani atmaiva abhut dvijanata tatra ko moha kasyokaha ekatvam anuvashyataha. Same message. So, Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.